welcome back to my channel, What About That Woman. If you're tuning in for the first time, thank you for joining me on my journey. My name is Danielle Avery. If you're returning, thank you for sticking with us, with me. So today's topic is, yes, new friends, right? So I asked God for new friends. I asked God for genuine friendships, and just want to share some tips and some of the things that I prayed for in my journey to find true friendship. Growing up, I really didn't know how to make friends. I was always around adults. I always was kept around older women. My grandmom, she was the type of person that she didn't want me to be in daycare. And yes, it's a good thing. I got the one-on-one attention, the hands-on training and the teaching, but it didn't help me to gain those social skills I needed for, you're in daycare, you running around, and you learn how to go up to somebody and ask them to be your friend. You learn how to handle certain issues on the playground that I wasn't able to gain those skills. So, and then I was the only, I have a small family, so, or my immediate family stayed to themselves, so I wasn't always around a whole bunch of my other cousins. But on this side of the family, on my dad's side of the family, I was the youngest at the time, and really didn't have anybody my own age to play with. If an older cousin came over and they were being mean, my grandma would handle it as she should, but it really didn't give me the opportunity to learn how to solve problems on my own. It didn't give me the opportunity to learn how to make new friends or what to look for in a friendship. And then when I jumped in kindergarten, it was just, here's your new kid experience, right? My mom didn't go around a lot of people who had kids. I didn't really have that interaction. So a lot of skills I didn't learn starting off. But from what I can remember, a lot of times when I grew up, and I grew up in the inner city, I went to a public school, and it wasn't the best public school, but it was still, it wasn't the hoodest public school out there. So those experiences kind of, they helped me to pick the wrong friends. I wanted to be in the in crowd. I wanted to have my friends look a certain way. Maybe you were pretty, you were shaped a certain way. I didn't want at that time, I didn't see the value in having a plus size friend, a friend that didn't look how, societal norms are normally portrayed on us, right? I looked at the music videos and I said, oh, I want friends like that. I want to go out and do those type of things with my friends. When I get older, I'm going to the club. And I've only been to one club in my life. But those are the things that went through my head because I didn't learn how to make genuine friendships. And I would get friends and I would say, oh, hey, I'm going out with my friend, to my grandma. And she'd be like, well, what's your friend's name? Because I always would be like, my friend. So I didn't see the value in, telling my parents about the people that I was associating with. There was just a lot of training that I really didn't learn as a young kid. And then I was sheltered to an extent. I watched my music videos every now and then. Cash Money Millionaires, they were my faves when they came out. But I knew about sex, and I just knew about the things that went on with kids and learning, picking up other habits, whether bad or whatever. I learned them, but I was sheltered in a way where I was always in church. My grandma, she was saved, sanctified. We don't snap our fingers in church. We clap our hands type. So I've been raised to know the way, or to know religion and tradition. But when it comes to, street knowledge and some of the lessons that I feel like every child should learn, I wasn't afforded those same opportunities because I was sheltered from them. So when it came time for me to be street smart or be a little bit savvy on how to handle friendships, like don't talk about your friend behind their back. I might have heard my aunt, mom, cousin, whoever talking about their friends, and I'm like, oh, well, maybe that's what I'm supposed to do. So subconsciously, I was going about my friendships the wrong way. I was handling good friendships that when I did have good friendships, I was probably talking about them too. And that's not how to be a friend, right? We learn things through trial and error, but I feel like the majority of my life going through friendships, I've only had maybe a handful of genuine friendships. And if me and that person are not talking today, it's because of me and how I treated the friendship. Um, Growing up in the church, there's a lot of times where, you're dating a guy and then you might have a friend over here and then they start dating a guy because it's really not a lot of men in church, especially if you're in a small church. You're like, everybody's passing around everybody, kind of, sort of. If you might know what I mean, right? So I might have had issues where I've taken a boyfriend or I've taken somebody that somebody liked and I didn't know that they liked them. So it was really trial and error for me. I'm 32 and I can say now I have learned the meaning of true friendship. Before I was separated from my child's father, I thought I had friends. People were a listening ear at the time of my divorce. But when things happened, I didn't have anybody around. When I look back on it, I feel like that person used me for information to take back to my ex. I feel like some of the friendships I had was just because somebody would listen to me, and the wisdom that I have now is just because somebody listens to you doesn't mean that they are invested in you as a genuine friend. It could just mean that they just want some information to take back to somebody, even if it's not the person that the information would benefit. They might want to take that information back to one of their close friends, or they might want to hold it against you if you guys are in an argument. They might want to tell the world when you guys fall out. So, picking a friend was not good for me back then, right? So when I went through my divorce, I sat down with God. One of my times of meditation with God and just thinking on his word, thinking about how if we want friends, we got to show ourselves friendly. If we want, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Just basic principles like that. Basic morality principles, basic biblical principles of how a friend, a brother, a sister is supposed to be treated. So I was sitting down with God one day and I was like, Lord, I want genuine friendships. And I threw away my list of how a friend should look, which is very superficial, and I'm admitting it because I'm being real with y'all. But when we think of the things that the ideals that we have in our mind about maybe a man that we want to date, he gotta be 6 foot, he gotta be packing, he gotta be slim and trim. If I'm slim and trim, like, some of those ideals are not realistic, and some of those ideals are not what's best for us because they come with a certain aura or a certain mentality that we really are not ready for, we don't want in a mate. So say for instance you want somebody that is sexy and whatever, he might be a hoe, he might be sleeping with other people, he might cheat on you. So it's like we want these things, but always what we want is not always best for us. But God is going to provide what we need and not always what we want. And in a friend, I knew that I wanted somebody that's a parent. I remember one girl who was supposed to be my friend. she told me that she didn't want to hang out with me anymore because I always had my daughter with me. And as her as a friend, she's supposed to know, like, hey, I don't have a good support system. I don't have a support system where I can just drop my kid off. And I thank God that now looking back on my support system, they didn't allow me to just go about parenting without a care in the world. I couldn't just drop my kid off and just do whatever I wanted to do. I couldn't just have somebody babysit my daughter and go spend the night at so and so's house with my whole bag. I couldn't just do that, right? The time that I did get to spend without my daughter, that was focused on building me up. I did spend time with my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time. I did spend time with other friends and family members, but I'm glad that I was able to stay focused and do the things that was conducive to my relationship with my child and my betterment. And in my financial state at that time, I wasn't spending my money frivolously on things that I didn't need. But so it kept me accountable, right? But the friend told me that she didn't want to spend time with me no more because I always had my kid. And I was just like, Lord, I want friends. I mean, I can have friends that don't have kids, that's fine. But they have to understand, when I have my child, I have my child. And if you don't want to see me when I have my child, then we can't see each other. But we still friends. So I had to talk with Jesus, and I was like, look, this is what I want in a friend. Lord, please provide me relationships that are meaningful. Provide me relationships that are God sent. I don't want to waste my time with another person who doesn't have my best interest at heart. And don't you know, Jesus worked it out? He started providing people in my life that had my best interest at heart. He started providing friends that were in business. He started providing friends that had kids, that we can learn from, that we can sit on the phone. And if we do talk for long periods of time, it's not affecting our parenting. When I need to say, hold on, let me make sure she has something to eat, or let me make sure that I attend to my daughter's needs, that friend is like, cool. And to that point, we're not always on the phone with each other for long periods of time to take away from our relationship with our kids. So God has provided in ways that, I couldn't have even imagined. And one, I had to be open for those type of relationships, right? So just because you want to talk to me and you want to be friends, I'm not calling you my friend the day I meet you, right? I'm letting you earn that title now. I'm not, and it's not being cocky in any way, shape, or form. It's just saying, hey, you want to be in my space. You want to talk to me about your problems. I want to talk to you about my problems, but I need to trust you. And I know the Bible says don't put your trust in any man. And I'm paraphrasing it, right? But I wanted somebody who earned that title. Somebody who I can say, oh yeah, that's my girlfriend. Oh yeah, I got her back, and I know she got my back. Like, I didn't want somebody that was just going to throw me aside when they felt like it, or they weren't able to hold me accountable. And I'm a very direct person, so if you are talking to me and you want advice from me, I'm going to be direct. I'm not going to be direct to the point where I'm hurting your feelings, but I'm going to tell you like it is. If you ask me, how do you like this dress, I'm not going to lie to you. And I want people like that in my corner. I want people like that that's going to say, Danielle, I think that's a bad decision. I really don't feel like God wants you to walk in that way. I want people that's going to say, hey, Danielle, I think we should pray on this. Danielle, I'm fasting tomorrow. Would you like to fast with me? Like, I want people that are God sent, and people who have my best interest, my family's best interest at heart. Somebody that's not going to sit here and take from me. Somebody that's going to pour into me just as much as I'm pouring into them. And a relationship is not always 50-50. Just like it's not always 50-50 in marriage or with your love interest is not always 50-50. But we can, if we don't talk for a day or two, we won't talk for a month, maybe even a year for whatever reason, we're not like sitting down with each other and actually getting a chance to talk. When the next time that we do talk, it's like nothing ever happened. Because life happens, right? We get distracted. We're like, hey, I don't feel like being bothered at this point. But we still know that you're my friend, I'm your friend. You need me today or tomorrow, I got you, right? And those are the type of friendships that I want. I mean, I ain't trying to fall off with nobody for a year and I talk to them. Like, that's ridiculous. But I don't want a friendship that is all about give and take and not, I'm sorry, that's not all about take, take, take. I want a friendship where we're both equally, or if not equally, we're both giving to each other. So I would suggest to you, don't go into another day, another hour, another minute, quoting no new friends, because you never know who God is placing in your life for you to help. They might just be an acquaintance, but don't cut off somebody just because they haven't earned your trust yet. Give them a chance if they are showing signs of what you want in a friend. Sit down and talk to God. Like, Lord, I need this. I need that. I want this. I want that. And see who He provides. You never know. And then look for different signs that He heard your cry. It might be an old coworker who you didn't really click with at first, or maybe life issues wouldn't allow you guys to click. But maybe, being on Facebook, being on social media, y'all start interacting a little more and you start to learn something on their personal level that you couldn't have learned professionally as their coworker. And you find that you have similar interests. And then that could grow into a beautiful friendship. So you never know who could possibly be a God-sent relationship. But we have to be open to these relationships as well. And it's COVID. It's during the pandemic. You can meet a friend in a business group. You can meet a friend in a mom group. You can meet a friend going to the playground when the weather breaks and it gets warmer. I'm in Delaware, so it's cold. It's still snow on the ground now. So, taking my daughter to different places like Main Event and it's a place called Oasis in Pennsylvania. Like, there's these different places that I could take my child, that I could find other like-minded moms there. You could go to the mall, you in Target, you sparking up a conversation with people, and I'm an introvert. I feel like I'm an introvert. Like, I might look like an extrovert, but I am talking to a camera, right? But I love being by myself. I love to recharge and just do the things that I like to do to recharge. Maybe watch one of my favorite shows, maybe read a book, scroll on Instagram, travel. I like to go shopping. I like to do arts and crafts. I'm very crafty. I like to look at new recipes and I like to cook. I like to try new things out. So just trying to figure out what my likes and my dislikes are, I've come up with new hobbies, new interests, and that has really helped me during this process. When I do feel like I'm lonely, I can go back to my Pinterest boards that I made and see the recipes that I wanted to try. I might post a picture of the recipe. I might do things. I'm doing things that interest me, so it fills the void of maybe not having that person to dish to every day. And you don't always have to tell everybody all your business. It's not your friend's business to know everything about your relationship, how you are with your man, how you are with your kids. They don't have to know every detail, especially if it's something that they can throw up in your face later on down the line. So definitely learn to keep your business to yourself. Learn that the best person you can talk to is God. Sometimes we don't feel like he heard us. Sometimes we don't feel like um, our prayer is going to get answered. But your not yet is not a denial. It's not saying, oh, I'm God is not saying, oh, I don't want the best for my daughter. He is saying that he wants the best for you. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are chosen. So don't think that a father like he is going to tell you no. Don't or don't feel like he's going to tell you no if it's something that is for you. You might not be ready because you're putting off more of yourself and less of God. But once you start giving more of yourself to him and letting it be more of God and less of you, less of self, less of flesh, you will start to see that God will provide what you need and what you want. So take all your problems to him because he's the only one who can change people. He's the only one that can fulfill needs and desires. He's the only one that can wake you up in the morning. He's the only one. So focus on your relationship, building it with God. I believe in God. I'm not going to tell you a higher power. I'm not going to tell you a different form of God or I'm not going to base it off of a different religion. I'm going to tell you from a Christian perspective, from the Word of God. And we have to start believing and depending on the Word. And at one point, I was at the place where I didn't really hear the voice of God. But once I started to be quiet and meditate, and I don't mean meditating like they do in yoga. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying just sit quiet. After you read the scripture, after you pray, sit quiet and or listen to some worship music. Start thinking on the goodness of God, and instead of listening to the melody of the song, start to listen to the lyrics and let it start to be real to you. How can and when I say be real, it's how can you apply those lyrics or how can you see God in those lyrics in your life? And you will start to see that you hear from God quicker than how you would if you would pray and go right to watch something on TV that was negative, or you would pray and then you start to worry and doubt about certain things. But once you take that quiet time to meditate on His Word, hiding His Word in your heart, so when you do get frustrated, when you do feel like a friend has left you, God will remind you that He is the friend above all friends. He will never leave us nor forsake us. So start to build your hope on Him so that your discernment will be a little higher when it's time to, well, not higher, but a little stronger, where you can discern that is God and it's not a meaningless relationship. So once we build our relationship with God, then everything else will start to fall into place. So be encouraged that if you don't have any friends, if you feel like all your mom friends are negative, they don't like their kids, they don't do anything with their kids, if you feel like you want your circle to increase, it can. And it can be meaningful relationships. It can be a morally sound relationship. It's not somebody that's always trying to, just because they throw their kids off on their mom, they throw their kids off on their grandmom, they might have had their kids young and they still might be in that immature mentality. It doesn't mean that you always have to hang around that person. You can have somebody else around that's a friend that's going to inspire you and hold you accountable to your goals. They see the vision. They see you as what you don't even see yourself as. Like, they see you in a positive light, but they can help bring you up to so that you can have that same confidence. Like, it's an exchange of accountability within the relationship. So don't be discouraged. There's a friend out there, just like there's a man out there if you're single. There is, if you are married and you're just co-parenting, you have a husband that loves you. they hold you accountable, right? They bring something to the table. This is they have some kind of strategy in place for your family. So God is going to provide that friend, that lonely feeling that I need to talk to somebody. I don't want to pay a therapist to talk to. I want to have a girlfriend I can call up. God can provide that void, but we also have to make sure that we are putting Him first. He is the top therapist. He is the one who is going to, you know, put us in a better position in life. We just have to yield our lives over to Him. So if I said anything in this video that has helped you, please comment below. Let me know of an experience that you might have had with your friends that, you know, it just didn't work out, but God turned it around. Either He mended the relationship with your friends, or He provided new ones if other ones left. So let me know in the comment section if you like this video. Please like and definitely subscribe to get notified when the next video comes out. And I'll see you next time. Bye.